great insights. And now over to Dr. Jasic for 3.5 minutes, please.
Thank you so much, Chair. And yes, a fascinating panel of witnesses today. Like my colleague, Mr. Turnbull, I would really like to commend Ms. Heller for her very clear articulation that it is a very artificial division that seems to be made between what we are calling Western science and Indigenous knowledge, which of course is based on observational scientific methods as well. So sometimes it is helpful to counter the discrimination that is clearly there in terms of what is currently considered Indigenous knowledge by telling stories. And we've heard a little bit about psychedelics today, but are there other examples? Perhaps, Ms. Heller, you could give us some other examples where the weaving of Indigenous observational science has been incorporated into research that has had a lasting effect, some sort of positive outcome that everyone can acknowledge. Any kind of concrete example of that kind of research that has been published and is widely acknowledged to have advanced science in its full sense?
Oh my goodness. There are a number of actively used therapeutics and anti-cancer medicines that were discovered, and I'm using air quotes for those that are sight impaired, by Western scientists, but were directed to those researchers by Indigenous people as as plants. Pacific yew, for example, that were used since time immemorial to treat a number of ailments, and some of these anti-cancer drugs are some of the largest money-making drugs that big pharma is using. So, I mean, just in drug discovery alone, there are a number of examples, and I think the anti-cancer medicines is one that I would point to.
I think that's very
quite frankly,
helpful.
the people, I was just going to say, quite frankly, the people that the Indigenous communities that offered that medicine were arguably not compensated for that sharing of knowledge, and it's what has led to the distrust and the hesitancy in sharing some of that knowledge now.
Dr. Williams, are you aware of some, as we are moving forward with weaving Indigenous knowledge with Western science, what about some outcomes in terms of health outcomes? Have you observed, have you documented any positive results in terms of integrating, in terms of the usual measures of successful outcome? Perinatal mortality decreasing in perhaps Indigenous populations, longevity, life expectancy, quality of life, anything that can be pointed to as a successful outcome where integration has occurred or weaving has occurred.
I'm sorry, we're at the end of time, but maybe we could ask for a response in writing if that's available to us. That would help our study.